Hello, everyone. Let's talk about Power BI. So first of all, for whoever is not familiar with Power BI, what is Power BI? Power BI is an online service. We can get a consolidated view of our data from an online service. It enables us to get a view of reports where we can create ad hoc analysis, live dashboards, and build apps. So we can use Power BI anywhere. We can use it online. We can use it on a tablet or on a phone. And we can use it anywhere we have internet, and we can connect to Microsoft Azure. One of the big advantages to Power BI is its data connectivity. We can connect to a large variety of data sources. This includes the common data model. If we set it up right, we can use the common data model directly in Power BI. We can also mix and match the data from other data sources. And then finally, in addition to using Power BI through the web browser or a phone or tablet, we can also embed it inside of some of the D365 apps like Finance and Operations, Sales and Customer Engagement, or Business Central. Data flows are one great way to use Power BI. The data flows allow data to be stored consistently throughout the organization. So instead of connecting directly in Power BI to a data source, if we prep the data through a data flow using common data model, we're able to set an organizational standard on any table and then use that as our key tables in Power BI. With Power BI, we have the option of either using the common data service and common data model or creating ad hoc queries. And it's up to an organization to decide what works best. But it gives you this ability to control what users access by making them go through a common data service as opposed to users making their own connections ad hoc. This common data service and Power Platform enhances our ability to create self-service data. And we utilize data flows to help store disparate data sources into one area in common data service. And the way common data service works is it's actually storing it inside of a data lake. So our steps for creating a data flow is first we would say add new entities. And by defining new entities, we're able then to choose a data source and then build a report from that data set in that process. And the way that Power Platform works in the background is it creates common data model folders. If you look at the bottom of the diagram, it organizes all of those entities into a data lake, and then the data flows can read directly from that data lake, and you can use it inside of Power BI. And then also, that same data lake can be used with other applications as well. Without going too far into detail, the data lake is where Microsoft is pushing. Instead of storing your data in a database, we're storing data as a blob or an object in storage, which is a more efficient storage for a cloud solution and a lot cheaper as well to store data. So let's go into Power BI and let's look at some of these features. So first of all, I'm going to open Power BI and I'm going to open an existing report. So from an end user's perspective, using the data lake, Power BI is going to look the same as they're used to. I'm showing, for example, financial performance report first. If I click into the report, this is going to drill into the report. Oops. If I drill into the report, it opens an underlying report. And this is standard Power BI functionality where we can have dashboards that drill the reports. With the Power Platform, we can control how we get access to data. And instead of having to go directly to individual data sources to build reports, we can create data flows. And these data flows allow me to take a data set, and I took, for example, that release products, and I created one entity, and I can refresh it on demand and say refresh now. And that creates a storage of that release products data set. And in Power BI, now if we go to build a report in the get data functionality, we can now connect directly to the common data model through our data flows. So we connect. When we connect to data flows, we can connect to this directly in the reports. And if we want to create more data flows or edit the data flows, we can control through the Power BI service what entities are included in our data flows and connect to additional entities using the Power BI service.
Dan, this is good stuff. So with the Power BI, you showed us a little bit on the data side. Can you show us a little bit more of the end user experience? some of the reports that they might drill through as they start maybe with a dashboard first and then just drill down into the underlying reports and just some
Right.
of the capabilities that they might have as an end user?
Great. Once the reports are established in Power BI, we can connect to them. And this is, for example, is a dashboard. In the dashboard, I have several tiles here showing different financial KPIs. So I can see the total cash, the revenue this year, expenses this year, and some graphical views down below. For example, net income by quarter. So I can see what my net income is for each quarter historically. If I click into one of these total revenue this year, it's going to open up an underlying report of revenue analysis. And now I can do some filtering or drill throughs on this tab.
Dan, what you're showing us there, is that a standard report out of Power BI, or did you create that yourself?
This one is actually a standard report for Dynamics 365 Finance and Operations.
Great. And how did you import that into the system? Is it a content pack?
This one is a content pack. In some cases, content packs can be retrieved from Microsoft services. So on the bottom left, get data services. At least for Business Central, there's one called Finance that can be connected directly from the services. For Finance and Operations, it's deployed through the application, Finance and Operations application, and you can connect that way.
Excellent. And that's a good starting point for people who are just getting started with the solution. You can take some of those visualizations and alter them to your liking. And then I know we've built some specific Power BI solutions out of the box for typical customer requirements. Did you have any of those you could show us today?
Yeah, let's take a look at one of those. If I look at, for example, an accounts payable dashboard, this is taking a view of payables and calculating top payables by vendor, by posting group on a dashboard. If I drill down on one of these graphs, it's going to take me to an underlying report. And now I have some different views for AP. We have some other views on this as well. For example, for inventory.
Can you show me the vendor performance one? I know when I've spoken with customers, they really like that one because it's a difficult metric for them to track. And typically they're running multiple reports to try to do it manually. And the fact that you can click a button and see it is always powerful.
Right, in this example, I'm looking at a vendor performance report, and I can see, for example, in the top, I have an on-time ratio. So my overall vendors are 87% on time, which I'm comparing to 80%. So they're doing well compared to what I'm comparing, 80%. Maybe I want that to be 90% in the future. If I want to look at London Postmaster, I can click and it'll drill down just to them and highlight them. So I can see they're at 89%. And here they are among the graph. I can also look at an item. So I want to see loudspeakers is overdue. Which vendors are providing, or this American Wood Exports is showing is the vendor that's late for this product. Let's try it, everyone.
Yeah, so there's somebody, the one you just clicked, that was under the threshold. And what I've worked with some customers, they can actually set an alert to say, if this value comes under or over this amount, then send me alert from Power BI. Is that something that's easy to set up?
It is. Let's do an example. So let's pin this to a dashboard. So I'm going to make a new dashboard. And now I have one value on my dashboard, inventory value, and I'm going to create an alert. And I want to make an alert by going to this manage alerts, and I can add a rule. So I want to be alerted anytime the value goes over 4 million. And it can send me a notification. So now when this happens, I'll get a notification. Going back to the alerts, I can manage the alerts. I could create a second alert. Let's say I want another alert if it goes below 3 million. And of course, it'll send me an alert when the data changes. There's also some advanced options I can trigger Microsoft Flow from this alert, and we'll cover that more when we go through Microsoft Flow later. But for example, there's a gallery that where Power BI, some sort of action there, will create an action in Microsoft Flow.
Nice. I know you're going to cover Flow in just a few minutes. Well, great. And Dan, I've heard of a couple customers just dropping in an Excel spreadsheet into Power BI, and Power BI consumes the data and tells them relevant items about their data. Can you just show us where you might do that, where you upload a data set? I believe it's in the Get Data section.
Yep. If I have a file I want to do analysis on, I can bring in a file directly to the Power BI service, and then I can do some insights based on that file. So I'd go here to Get, and I can get data directly from any file that I have. So if, for example, if I run a report in Excel and I just want to upload it, I could do that and start getting started with Power BI.
Yeah, and I would encourage everybody to sign up for a free trial of Power BI if you don't have it today. It's actually going to be in your Office 365 menu, just another app. And you can sign up for a free account, upload your favorite spreadsheet, which all of us have, and you'd be pretty impressed about the insights that the Microsoft Cloud can provide you, provide some data analytics, and tell you some trends in the data that you may not know about.